Hi Pisces, happy birthday. Welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you found me. This is your March 2017 Astrology, Tarot, and Oracle video scope forecast. I hope you enjoy it. The main thing for you to know or take away from this March and actually this spring season is that we are now under the influence of a Venus retrograde. I did a series of videos on the Venus retrograde. I'll have an information bubble pop up in the upper right hand corner of the screen with a link to that playlist so you can find your different signs. I recommend you watch your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign for the resonant messages for you during this portion of the Venus retrograde season. Now, that's really all I'm going to speak about when it comes to the Venus retrograde, unless the cards fall and ask me to speak more about it, but we'll get to that when we get there. But Pisces, why don't you sit a spell so we can talk about your stars? Okay, so on March 3rd or 4th, and we're already past that date now, so now, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, harmony, money, resources, and values, is going retrograde in the sign of Aries. She will tiptoe back into Pisces later on, but she's coming, y'all. Right now, she will be in the second house, taking her time for you to reevaluate issues of the house of mine. Anything you could point to, put a sticker on, or introduce as mine to somebody else would probably qualify as a second house item. It is also the house of your money, your earning ability, your self-esteem, and your possessions and values. That second house is ruled by the zodiac sign of Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So you're probably going to feel this pretty substantially, going within and reassessing your values in some way in that house of mine. And it can be anything from your self-esteem to your money and your possessions. You may be clearing stuff out. Might be a good time to sell some stuff on Letgo or something like that. On the 9th or 10th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got Mars moving into Taurus, and this is your third house. The third house is ruled by Gemini. The third house is ruled by Gemini, sorry. My dog is distracting me. She's really kind of antsy because she hasn't had her outside time because it's been raining all day. So, anyways, that third house ruled by Gemini for the third time. It is your short distance trips, siblings, cousins, and neighbors, and the people in your neighborhood. It is also your communication and communication devices. Communication is how you speak, how you interpret others, and how they interpret you. But it's also your commute to and from work or school on a daily basis. I would say no further than a day trip would be that third house qualifier. Now, Mars is the planet of energy, impulse, and aggression. With Mars moving into this third house, I would say be careful when you are driving, Pisces. You may be feeling road rage, or you may be dealing with people with road rage. Also, be very careful with your communication devices. You may end up with some broke screens or broke phones or tablets, things like that. Another thing, be careful with the way that you speak to people and the way that you allow them to speak to you, because Mars is the planet of aggression, but it's also energy and it's impulse. So you could be very impulsive in your speech or very impulsive with your communication devices or in your driving. Just be very careful. Now, on the 11th or 12th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we will have a full moon in Virgo. This is in your 7th house. Now, Virgo, where the full moon is occurring, is ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mercury rules communication, and this full moon is going to have feelings of worry, judgment, and anxiety tied to it in some way or another, and I'm going to say it's probably through the form of some form of communication or another. Now, that 7th house is ruled by Libra, and the 7th house is the house of your partnerships and relationships and how you identify who you are as a human being through those relationships and interactions with those other people. It's also the house of your counseling and your open enemies. Open enemies are people that you would consider someone you have an open beef against. It would be someone you would testify against in an open court of law. But I also see it as someone you could argue with in an online forum where other people would get to see and witness it and digest it and take part in it as well. Just breathe during that full moon you're going to be tested in your partnerships more often than not. Now, on the 13th or 14th, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got Mercury, the planet of thought, movement, and communication, moving into Aries. This is your second house. So you're going to be getting some information. There will be some movement in one way or another. It could be up or it could be down in your issues of finances, money, earning ability, self-esteem, your possessions, and the house of mind. And from here on out, the energy is going to be playing out through the second house. Because on the 20th or the 21st of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got the sun moving into Aries, and this is the spring equinox. It is the beginning of the astrological new year. It is when the baby Aries are starting to be born. This is occurring in your second house, so that sun is bringing in light, illumination, energy, and will, life force, and assertion into that second house as well. That house of mind, your possessions, your earning ability, self-esteem. The things that you care about most and want to know where it is down to the last dime, where your favorite t-shirt is, where your lover is, where your child is, where your dog is, pet. On the 27th or 28th of the month, we've got a new moon in Aries. This is your second house. It would be a good time for you to plant a seed, for you to grow in about 6 months' time, to come to fruition in that Aries new moon. That second house, it'd be a good time for you to possibly put some money in a savings account or short-term CD, or putting money into the short-term stock market or something to that effect, where you're able to help grow that. If you're not wanting to invest money, then invest time into your body, put time into your skincare, put time into your exercise and your spiritual regimen, and your self-esteem and body will reflect that if you keep that practice up and maintain it. But new moons are basically seeds it's a time for seeding new intentions and planting new ideas to hopefully come to yield for you. So Pisces, that's what I see for you astrologically for the month of March. What I'm going to do now is transition over to my cards. And while I shuffle, I'm going to let you know that if this reading does not resonate with you, that's more than fine. You have a little bit of each of the zodiac in you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to your natal birth chart. And you can get a free natal chart by Googling the words free natal chart and bringing the information off of your birth certificate to that website. They will ask for your birthday, your birthplace, and your birth time. And it will generate a chart that looks much like a pizza, 12 slices. And there is a zodiac sign that governs over each one of those 12 pieces. There will also be different symbols that will represent planets and angles in your chart. I recommend that you know where your sun, your moon, and your rising sign are. But if you've got your natal chart, learn how to read it so you can follow along at home and use this as a tool for your better spiritual growth as well. I'm by no means a guru. I am just trying to help show y'all what I figured out. And I'm by no means an expert. I just give you what I can and what I have. So, Google that free natal chart, fill it out, and it will generate that information. It's like a picture of the sky from the perspective when you took your first breath on this planet. So your chart is very much the recipe of who you are, and it's what makes up your celestial energy. It also is I think of it as a blueprint. I have said it on more than one occasion that before I found astrology, I was on autopilot, and after I found astrology, it was like I found my owner's manual. I figured out what makes me tick and why I react the way that I react, and lots of different things. And this isn't me trying to sell you on it or not. It's just my personal story. But if you are interested in it, you can get that chart. There are different online tutorials and YouTube videos that will teach you how to kind of decipher what's going on in that chart. And watch your sun, moon, and rising sign. But if you don't know where those placements are and you've gone through those different avenues and you still need help or want me to confirm it, you can send me a copy of your natal chart to sweetteastro@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible with those placements. Understand that my email fills up quickly. Some days I am better than others at responding. Just depends on what's going on in my personal world. I'm a full-time student, a full-time mom, a full-time fiance, and I've got a lot of other obligations on my plate besides what I'm trying to offer here as well. So just be gracious with me, and I'll be back to you as soon as possible. It's a free service that I provide because I feel like it's something everybody can use and definitely needs to know about themselves. So, now that I've done yapped and yapped and yapped about that, let me cut this deck for my Pisces viewers and friends. And how y'all doing? You had a solar eclipse at the end of February. Are you feeling the impacts yet? It was at 8 degrees of Pisces. I think that eclipse helped bring in a new shooting perspective for me. I am getting a lot of positive reviews on the other videos that I've shot so far. So hopefully you enjoy this as well. I've got the cards cut, so what I'm going to do is pull my spread for you. I promised I would make it up to you by pulling more cards. I'm going to do that in the form of your oracle cards. So, the bottom card is the underlying theme or overarching energy, and I'm going to pull the top 3 for clarity. Okay, Pisces. I got a brand new deck about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. It is the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Elena Fairchild. The artwork is by Jane Marin. And I really, really like this deck. I know I say that about every deck that I have, but I really do. I like all of them. That's why I got them. But this deck is really special because Elena Fairchild has taken crystal energy and infused crystal angel messages in the vibration of 333, 444, or 888 with each individual card. She has also infused the energy of the archangels or ascended masters or cultural ancient deities, or ancient cultural deities is better put, to bring forth a really beautiful message for each card. I love every one that's come forth so far. What I'm doing now, I just finished cutting the deck, and I promised that I would pull extra cards for you to make up for telling you one thing and not fulfilling my promise. Here's the top card of the Crystal Mandala deck and the bottom card of the Crystal Mandala deck. And finally, I will be shuffling the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. This deck is also by Elena Fairchild. It is the first deck that I purchased for myself in an online transaction. I have Uranus as my rising planet, which means that, Uranus rules the internet, but it also rules the rebels and the weirdos. So, Uranus rising as a planet with Scorpio rising as my ascendant. It means I'm weird, but you kind of got to be weird and a little bit of a rebel to do this kind of stuff. But when I saw the deck on Amazon, it was like, I heard in the back of my head, you have to have this deck at your house, like, now. So, as soon as I got it, I fell in love with it. I've had so many positive responses and reviews of it as well. Many of you have purchased it. I've seen other readers using it now. It just thrills me to see so many people enjoying the Sacred Rebels. I hope that if I introduced it to you, you've enjoyed it. This is your top Sacred Rebels card and your bottom Sacred Rebels card. But, I hope that you enjoy it. If you have been introduced by me, great. And if this is your first time, even better. So, Pisces, now what I'm going to do is hit the pause button and flip these cards over, do the tarot math, and I'll be right back with your story. Hang tight, y'all. I'll be right back. Hey, Pisces, I'm back with your cards, so let's get started. And I hope you made some popcorn, went to the bathroom or whatever, because it's probably going to be a minute. So, by minute, a long reading, I'd say probably over 40 minutes, just because of the amount of cards that's here. But let's get started. The Four of Swords is your underlying theme or overarching energy. The Four is representative of the fourth house on the astrological wheel, and that is the house that's ruled by Cancer. That is the house of home and family, or roots and foundations. Home is where you live or where you consider home to be, and family is who you share that home with. That can be your parents, your spouse, your partner, your fur babies, your children, your house guests, housemates, or roommates. Sorry. Your internal or external roots and foundations can be as follows. Internal roots would be like your tightly held faith, beliefs, opinions, philosophies, and the foundation would be like your structure. That's your bones and your teeth. But externally, we could talk about your house. The internal part of your house would be the studs or the plumbing. The external would be the foundation that it's actually on. And the roots could be affecting the plumbing outside or the foundation of the home in some way. That's just the number 4, y'all. Now, the swords represent air sign energy. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And this card is indicative to me. In the upright, it's like bed rest, very tired, needing rest, probably a lack of energy, maybe even getting over some sort of an illness. But in reverse, it almost feels like somebody is digging up something from the past. Either you or your partner or someone close in the family, because it's the 4th house that I'm reading this under. This person that may be doing the digging is possibly a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius because of the air sign qualities that are associated with it. This individual may have been on a hiatus. It may be secrets that you are uncovering about a loved one that is dearly departed as well. Like I said, this is the underlying theme or overarching energy of the spread. You aren't having any 4th house energy play out directly in your astrology on the Pisces side of things, but you've got moon sign, rising sign, and other things that could be influencing and that may be playing out, or at least tinges of it for you in this area of life. Now, the first card in the top 3 for clarity that I pulled for you, Pisces, is the 10 of Wands. The 10 represents that 10th house on the astrological wheel. That house is ruled by Capricorn. That is the house that I like to think of through the lens of William Shakespeare. He said all the world is a stage, and I like to think of the 10th house as a stage that you approach the world on, and it's how the world knows you. It's through your career, your status, your reputation. It's through dealing with authority figures in your world, in your life, but also in their fields, like an expert, teacher, professor, doctor, or lawyer, that sort of thing. The wands represent fire sign energy, and the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Now, we do have a lot of Aries energy going from the mid-month on. We've got Venus going retrograde in Aries. You've got Saturn transiting that 10th house. Saturn actually is comfortable in the 10th house because that Capricorn is ruled by that planet. So it's very, very comfortable there. Saturn is a planet that is representative of limitation, structure, and containment. When I think of a Saturn transit, I think of Saturn as like the building code inspector. If the foundation of wherever he is transiting, and I say he because it's known as the taskmaster, and also Kronos, the father of time, wherever Saturn is going, he is testing the foundation of that astrological house, and right now it's your 10th house. So if your career, your status, your reputation are dealing with authority figures, or even the foundation of your destiny, if any of that has not been built to code per se, then it will get knocked down, but built back up, hopefully stronger, so that it is better for you, and it is stronger for you to support you and hold you throughout the rest of your life. It feels like you've been going uphill. It really, I can definitely hear Capricorns asking, what did I do to piss God off? And I ask myself a lot when I was undergoing the Saturn transit of my ascendant. I would ask myself weekly, what did I do to piss God off? And I was very tired, very, very tired. Had a lot to do. The focus is what this burden or this obligation is that's in front of you. It may be that you are just trying to power through a really tough or sad or shitty situation, and it could be dealing with or stemming from an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Now, we did have Mars go retrograde last summer from Sagittarius back into Scorpio, and that may be involving some of this as well, just to give you a little bit more information. Now, the second card that I pulled for you is the Three of Pentacles. Whenever I see this card, I think of your car keys or your house keys. You are having Mars, the planet of energy, impulse, and aggression, moving through that third house, and that is the house of your communication and short-distance trips and journeys that can cover your commute or your vehicle. So please be careful with your vehicle. Lock it up as well, because somebody may be thieving from you out of your vehicle. I don't know why. I've never seen that. I've never gotten that as a message before. But lock your stuff up. Make sure that nobody's able to take anything that's of value out of your vehicle, or even locking your home up, making sure you know where your keys are. If you've lost your keys, get a new set, change your locks, that sort of thing. The Pentacles represent earth sign energy. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And here's where it's interesting, because you've got the third house, and this is where Mars is moving into Taurus. Taurus is that earth sign, but the way that your chart plays out, there's a ruler of the house, and then it's what's going on in your chart. The ruler of the second house is Taurus, but where it's playing out for you is the third house, and that's where this key in this number 3 is playing out. The second thing is the full moon that's occurring on the 11th or 12th of the month is in an earth sign. This is Virgo, and this is dealing with your partnerships and your relationships. So it may not be your keys, it may be your partner's keys. They may lose their keys, or need to get a new set of keys, something to that effect. With it being in the 7th house, it could be your partner's, or it could be that you have somebody that you've considered a friend that has a key to your house, and they come in and they just welcome themselves to whatever the hell it is that you've got in your house, which may be a possibility. And people get crazy around full moons. They call them lunatics for a reason. It was due to lunar cycles. And when you look to or ask people who deal with the public, say first responders, police, fire, EMT, or people who work in, say, the emergency rooms, they know without looking or going outside if it's a full moon or not, just based on the amount of foot traffic and crazy energy that they have to deal with. And I don't mean crazy by any disrespect. You understand what I'm saying when I'm bringing forth this sort of stuff. You may feel like you're being watched as well. Like I said, in the astrology part of this reading, Mercury rules Virgo, where that full moon's coming through, and there's possibly a feeling of worry, judgment, or anxiety. And if you pay attention, this individual right here is displaying their skills for this crew to judge what they're doing. When I see this card show up in a private reading or by itself, it makes me think of an apprentice, someone who needs someone over their shoulders to make sure that they're doing the right job the right way, like you've just been hired on in some way. The third card in the top 3 for clarity that I pulled for you is the Knight of Cups in reverse. The Knight of Cups can be a message or a messenger. If it is a messenger, then it is someone who is about 35 to 38 years old at the oldest, older than a teenager. I would say mid-20s to 35 to 38 at the very latest. This guy can be a water sign, a Cancer, Scorpio, or a Pisces, but I also see them as having air sign energy, so they may be like a cusp baby, or they may have like their sun in one element and a moon or rising in another, but I see the air signs because of the wings right here. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, so it could be like the hybridization of the water and air signs coming together if it is a messenger or someone that you are dealing with as a person, per se. Now, I feel like they're dealing with you. They may be coming back from the past because he's in reverse. You do have that Venus dealing with money, resources, and the values. It's also love and beauty and harmony. It could be that this individual is coming back for a reassessment. You may be reflecting on this individual or this situation as well. Or you may get a message from someone that you highly valued and you're trying to decide if you're going to follow through with it or not. Let me give you this much, Pisces. The way that you see the situation, the individual, and what's going on right now, you might will see through different glasses, through different lenses, a different perspective, or a different angle in May. And I say that because Venus will have cleared her retrograde shadow period and be going in her full direct motion when we get to May. So understand that you've probably got the rose-colored glasses on in a certain situation, especially when it comes to that Venus retrograde, when you're dealing with the values and the money and the earning ability and the self-esteem, the house of mine, the things that you love most and want near you. So, I did the tarot math for you on this reading, and it ended up being 17. You got the 10, the 3, and the 4. 1 plus 7 is 8, and that speaks to the Scorpio-ruled house of love, or of love. Okay, that is not what that 8th house is. Let's try this again. It can be talked about in the lens of love. Let's just go back down the list. The 8th house is the house of Scorpio. It is the house of life, death, and birth, rebirth, the cycle of transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis. It covers your instincts. It can be primal, basic, or human. It also deals with your sexuality. That's the love lens. It can also deal with other people's money, your spouse's money. That could be a love lens. But other people's money could also be money that's coming to you that's earned through someone else's hourly wage, like your spouse's money, but also like a loan, a grant, inheritance, insurance payment, these types of things, scholarships, grants, lottery winnings as well could be 8th house, because it's coming to you, not earned by your hand. Now, you've got Jupiter in the 8th house, and Jupiter is the gas giant of our solar system. Wherever Jupiter goes, it makes that energy bigger. If it is a good energy, then more often than not, then it will expand and make excess of that good stuff. But if it's a not so good energy, then it might be more of an increase in excess of not so good stuff. That's just the way that it goes. But Jupiter is known as the planet of energy, or of increase, excess, and expansion. Yeah. So, Jupiter being in that 8th house, it could be that those issues of life, death, and rebirth have been really highlighted for you, probably very closely. It could be that the issues of sexuality have been hitting very closely to you. Those areas could be blowing up in your life. And I say that because Jupiter is a gas planet, and it could be explosive sometimes. So another way that this could be synchronistic for you is speaking to that 8-degree Pisces solar eclipse that we had at the end of February. That was in your 1st house. It could be that you are reassessing what is going on in your world over the past year and seeing how life has changed from one birthday to the next. Now, I pulled for you some oracle cards. So, because I promised you that I would make up the promise that I did not keep to you by doing this. And I apologize again for that. I'm going to try to do this as best as I can. So, the first card that I pulled for you from the Crystal Mandala deck by Elena Fairchild is the 20th card of the deck. It deals with the Ascended Master Elmora, I believe is how it's pronounced. And it deals with Blue Star Sapphire. This speaks to higher will, and it comes with the Crystal Master energy vibration of 333, which deals with divine creation, learning, higher wisdom, and the union of the masculine and feminine principles. It's a reminder that your higher purpose here in body, spirit, soul, and mind is to learn how to love on all of those levels. It's also to unite and to shine together. It's a reminder that your highest aim and when you are at your best is when you represent genuine love in human form. Now, this is the 20th card of this deck. 2 plus 0 is 2, and that speaks to that Venus retrograde in your second house. It could also maybe speak to the lunar eclipse that you experienced at 22 degrees of Leo at the beginning of February. It just depends. I would recommend going back and looking at that February video just to see if there's any resonant messages for you there. Now, because Leo rules the heart, and it feels like you've gone through a lot of loss. So that lunar eclipse is the endings and resolutions and culmination, hopefully, of that heartache. And Venus ruling love is a reflection on that, so I would really go look at that if I were y'all. Now, this card indicates, it speaks of higher will. And when you hear higher will, what do you think of instantaneously? Do you think of your will or that of the Creator? Pisces, when things don't go to plan, whose plan was it? That's what this card's asking you to think about. It's also an indicator that higher will is at work in your life right now, and it is okay not to know it all. You will find peace comes easier to you if you relax yourself in your mind and you make the choice to trust. You make the choice to trust in that higher will right now, because really that's the influence. That's what's driving this train. Now, higher will doesn't necessarily wish for anyone to suffer. It invokes a spirit and an energy of growth, but recognize that growth can be hard and it can be painful even. Letting go of old ideas, things, attachments, people, relationships, possessions, all of that is hard work. Surrender can really suck, y'all. And you are given full permission by me to not like this very much right now. But if you approach this time of trial as an exercise for your soul in building soul growth and in building soul foundation, it will help you in the end. So Pisces, do everything that you can do and then let go. And do it again and again and again if you need to. And it may be necessary. The process of building anything is not an overnight job. And building a new foundation for you isn't going to be either. The second card that I pulled for you from the Crystal Mandala Oracle deck is the 40th card from this deck, and it deals with Goddess Saraswati, and it's the Ammonite gemstone. It reads from word to world, and it deals with the Crystal Goddess's vibration of 888. The Crystal Goddess's vibration 888 indicates a feeling of strength, mastery, leadership, authority, and your own personal power. And it asks that you trust your inner power, knowledge, and wisdom at this moment. It also asks you to acknowledge the experiences that you have with the divine is real. And that can be through synchronicity. If I could speak, that could be through synchronicity. That could be through repeating numbers. That could be through coincidences. That could be through songs. That could be through smells. Anything that gets you daydreaming or thinking about something that takes you away for a minute. Now, 4 plus 0 is 4, and that speaks to the 4th house on the astrological wheel, which is ruled by the zodiac sign of Cancer. The 4 is representative of home and family, or roots and foundations. Home is where you live and where you consider home to be. Family is who you share that home with. That is your parents, your spouse, your partner, your fur babies, your children, your house guests, your housemates, your roommates. That's also the roots and foundations of your house. Internally, that could be the structure, the stud beams of your home, or the plumbing. Externally, that could be the foundation, or it could be speaking to roots, messing up the plumbing in some way. For you as an individual, the roots could be your spiritual beliefs, your opinions, your philosophies, and your foundation can be your bones and your teeth. You don't have any astrological energy playing out in the 4th house for you, but that doesn't mean that you haven't experienced that play out in a different area for you. That could have been where that eclipse happened. I do 12 videos twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month, so it gets blurry for me. I have to have my notes in front of me to be able to make sure that I'm telling you the right stuff. But the 4th house, there may be something going on in that home and family for you once again. Word to world indicates that what you speak with intent at this time around the new moon has power to manifest into this world. It represents that you have an open and activated throat chakra, which means that now is a time for you to speak your truth in love and to release your subconscious fears of being silenced. It's an invitation for you to claim your divine sacred voice. If you do this, the power of your intention will be amplified. And vibrations are real. You get what you give. Think about that in the terms of the law of attraction. Low vibrational journeys give us the gift of gratitude for simple things. And high vibrational journeys give us the gift of attraction of like-matched vibratory relationships, interactions, and manifestations. Do you want to change your life? Try changing your frequency, Pisces. One of the easiest ways to do this is to consciously choose your words. If you find yourself dwelling on the negative, then switch your perspective, because ultimately your vibe attracts your tribe. Understand that now is a time for you to use your voice, and that the words that you use are important, so choose them carefully. Speak consciously with love to manifest more love into your world and your reality, Pisces. I'm sorry, y'all. I need a drink of water. Getting over that cold. And it's done got windy and chilly and rainy again, so I'm sure I'll get sick again. It's going to be awesome. I'm joking. Whatever happens, happens, and I'm supposed to learn something from it. That's the way that I approach life now. So, now I feel like I'm going to sneeze. If I do, I'm sorry. I pulled for you 2 cards from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. This is from Elena Fairchild, and the artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. The first card that I pulled for you is the 17th card of this deck, and it reads, "What is already with you?" It is the 17th card, like I said, of this deck. 1 plus 7 is 8. That speaks to that 8th house of Scorpio. Life, death, and rebirth. That entire cycle. It also deals with your instincts. It deals with other people's money and sexuality. The house of transformation, regeneration, and metamorphosis, much like the butterflies that are seen in this card right here, floating out of the hands. Almost looking like they're being released in some way, so it may be a time of release for you as well. Jupiter's in the 8th house. You had that 8-degree solar eclipse in your 1st house, so it could be on one of 2 things. Either you or your focus is on another. It just really depends on what's going on in your individual chart. This card is asking you to recognize that all that you need to succeed right now is already with you. So you should act on it and accept it now. And this ending, the ending will become a reality to you once you stop trying to skip to the next chapter or the next page or the next day, month, week, year, whatever it is that you're trying to fast forward from. There's a reason why you're not able to. You have to go through that. And I gave you permission through the earlier cards saying you are totally allowed to not like this right now. That is 100% fine. I know a lot of Pisces that are hurting right now. Deeply hurting. This card invites you to be completely present because it's the only reality that we truly have. The past is something we can't change, and the future is something we only waste energy on when we worry about it. You are truly more ready than you think you are. So be brave and dig deep within you. Remember, we are here to grow and thrive, and you are enough. Believe it and receive it. One other thing, I said that you felt like you would be dealing, or some of you may be dealing with issues of release. Understand that surrender and release, especially of the things that we love most, cherish most, value most, can be bittersweet. It can be horrifically painful. And they don't call them growing pains for nothing, babe. Now, the final card that I pulled for you is the 35th card of the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. 3 plus 5 is 8, and that is speaking to that 8th house once again. The 8th house of Scorpio. Scorpio may be very important to you, Pisces. You may be dealing with someone who's got some serious scorpionic energy in one way or another. Because there's a lot of 8 showing up, especially in the Sacred Rebels deck for you. Do you know a rebellious Scorpio? Any Scorpio you know probably is. Conscious connections. There is a need or a craving for more intimacy in your immediate relationships. You need more intimacy in those close relationships that you have, and that's not just physical intimacy as in having sex. Intimacy can be on a soul level. An opening for heart-to-heart communication is coming to you, and it may be able to salvage or restore a broken relationship or friendship, or it may be able to allow you to get back on the same page with someone where there's been miscommunication or a misunderstanding. And sometimes it's hard to be the bridge between the differences in yourself and another. And only you know if it's truly worth it or not, Pisces. Understand and recognize that healing can come and healing can happen through your willingness to express your true feelings. And it may be that your feelings are so raw that you can't even speak them. And if that's the case, write it. Get it out, purge it. If you don't, it'll manifest in illness for you. This card is asking that you allow it to come together or fall apart, but to trust in the process of the natural cycles that draw people in and out of our life. Resist nothing that comes your way and seek the higher wisdom in all things that you are encountered with, Pisces. I even love that there's fishies down here. And do you see that they're swimming the same way? Normally the Pisces glyph has the fish going in opposite directions. Those fish are moving in the same direction. I'm just saying. It may be symbolic to some of y'all. Pisces, the best way for you to navigate through this Venus retrograde is to remember to ask yourself, do I love it? Do I love them? Or do I love this? Be willing to be honest with yourself. You have that open and activated throat chakra. Right now is the perfect time for you to assess your values, the things that you care about most in that second house, the things that you care about most in relation to Venus, love, beauty, harmony, money, resources, and values. Ask yourself what you love, how much you love it, and then do what you need to do to rectify the situation. I definitely recommend you checking out that Venus retrograde video. I'll have it linked in the information bubble above. I do hope that you're well, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. I'm going to get started very shortly, probably tomorrow, on recording the mid-month videos because I'm going to be dealing with midterms coming up soon. And I've also got to travel for debate this coming weekend. So, wish me luck on that. Please take care of yourself, Pisces. Please be kind to yourself, and please save some of that kindness for others, because we're all going through battles in our world that some of us may never speak about to another living soul. I'll be around soon, and I promise I won't forget. I will be putting Pisces and descending order down first. Aries will be last. I won't forget this time. I've already written it down in my notes. I didn't do that last time, and that was my bad. Please forgive me. I'm not the type of person to make a promise and then not keep it. So I do truly feel bad about that. This is where I stop. Take care. I love y'all. Namaste and bye.